Hello, everybody, and I hope you're having a great day today. It is a nice, happy Friday, wherever you're listening to this, and whenever you're listening to this. This is the third take, and I'm your host, John Chapman III. Now, you've all seen the title of this video. It's different from what I had already previously, and I'm about to get into that in a minute. But first, I need to do a full episode on just the podcast update and a podcast directional episode so that people can come back to this and not have to be like, well, I didn't get a post because it's too much for me to post anyways. So I just thought it'd be fair for me to actually make a video versus actually just doing the changes myself. Um, so for starters, I'm not going to end the third take. The third take is not going anywhere. It's not going to be just a trial and it's a big era. It's really very fun to create these episodes and to come up with these ideas. It's just that right now, for the place that we are at when it comes to the third take, because this is a heavily me and Takaya project, and we both are working in the medical field. She's literally a clinical supervisor, and I'm more of like the data technician type of part when it comes to healthcare. And anybody who knows how healthcare hours go, we don't work the 12, but we work more than just a 9 to 5. Um, Making videos every Friday can be very stressful. It can really be really draining, especially um, when life becomes lifing, basically. It would be dishonest for me to keep this podcast going and not give you the most authentic me and give you a me on an episode where I may not be feeling the best because I'm just tired, but I have to get this episode out. At first, this podcast has always been, and it always will be, it's not even at first, it is a passion project for me. It's not oh, I'm making money off of this, or, oh, I'm planning on making this a living, or I plan on making this my livelihood. My livelihood is literally what I do right now, and I'm not struggling when it comes to my livelihood, and where I'm going in the future really doesn't have anything to do with podcasting. This is just a way to get my thoughts out to the world, and for people who may become my patients when I become a psychologist, they at least have reference that I know what I'm talking about to a degree once I get that degree. But it's also an evolutionary thing for me to see how I am at the start of my psychologist journey, and to look back at it once I actually do become a doctor in psychology. But for the frequency of the third take, I am going to have to dial it back to a bi-weekly schedule. And bi-weekly schedule, in case you don't know what a bi-weekly schedule is, it basically means that I put out a new episode every 2 weeks. That gives me enough time to, if life happens, I don't have to send out another podcast update or put out due to circumstances, because I mean, the last circumstances was actual circumstances and the other one was Thanksgiving, but I don't have to stress myself on actually getting this video out when I may not be there to do that. And we're all human, and I always say that. So I'm going to have to give myself grace on that. But there's also an accountability on my end on, I only really promote the episodes like once, maybe twice, if it was a really great episode, and that can kill the momentum of each episode. And I feel like it's not fair um to me to do that and knowing that I'm not promoting it well. And it's just I have to use this as a being better, or to be better. it's a learning curve. I'm basically learning how to edit, guys. I'm basically learning how to edit stuff. I'm learning how to edit from scratch. I'm learning how to record. I'm learning all what do I need in terms of podcasting. It's about to be a new year. And next year I'm gonna really have my finger on the pulse when it comes to this, because it's going to be up to the point that hopefully next year, I'm not going to put this as a definite, but I'm going to work towards actually having um, videos, and it won't just be the logo that you see. It'll actually see my face and Takaya's face. But once I actually get a finger on the pulse of podcasting, and I'm always open to suggestions if anybody has any, but I'm basically going to use that time to learn more about podcasts and learn more about the craft and whatnot, because it can get a little stressful sometimes in terms of making episodes every single week. And it's nothing on viewership, because viewership is where I kind of anticipate it to be at, because like I said, I don't promote the podcast like that myself, let alone my support group of my family and Takaya. They always try to post it for me, but they can only do it so far, and I have to take that initiative to actually post it myself more frequently so that people have more of an engaging to see it. And yeah, so that's going to be this is just going to be a not a hard reset, but just a reset for the podcast direction of where I would like this to go. And like I said, for me, this is not I'm making money from this, or I want to or plan to make money from this. I mean, I'm never going to turn down a sponsorship or money, but I'm not at that viewership level where I could really be doing that right now, or having those plans right now. So I have actually have a job, and I'm in school, and I have roles outside of those that I have to be. I'm a boyfriend, I'm a son, I'm a friend, I'm all that. So I'm doing this to take care of my own mental health, because I can't be stressing, making videos and telling you guys to not stress. So I have to practice what I preach, and I have to set a boundary with this podcast. And like I said, this is not going to be the end of the third take. But it's just going to be a reset for the third take. Now, there's also the question about the third take as a whole. I've always gotten this question from people. Well, do you plan on doing this forever? Are you going to make it a hobby? Are you going to make it this? Are you going to make it that? Right now, it's really just a little hobby slash passion project. So, um, this very, this podcast could end. It really could. um if I really felt the need for it to, but I'm in that stage where I'm really enjoying it and I'm still learning, so I can't just be like, I'm not going to quit on this podcast just because I don't get that many views. Like, who cares? If I can, like I always said, if I can have one person, that's all that matters. But I'm giving myself a little bit of grace and a little bit of um self-care when it comes to making episodes. So like I said, this is not the end. It's just a little factory reset, and things will work out the way they work out. Like I said, I have plans for this podcast in the near future. There's some behind the scenes stuff that I'm trying to work on. Um, but for right now, I want to focus on the frequency of videos. Now, the podcast as a whole, there I'm not going to put a timetable on when the third take will stop, because the third take will eventually stop, and it will just be a channel, or a podcast series just full of episodes. But I feel like once I reach a certain amount of episodes where I feel like, okay, I can actually take a break from this, or I can actually stop this and let it be what it is, then it'll be there. And I'll let you guys know way ahead of time. But it's just this thing, like I said, this was always just a passion project for me. This is not a livelihood. I'm not looking to make a living off of this. I'm not looking to stop working and become a podcaster and become a streamer or whatnot. This is just for me, really. This is just for me to get my thoughts out in the world because I'm tired of saying it in my head, I guess. But yeah, so I just want to give you guys a little brief update on the podcast and let you guys know that some changes are going to be happening. Um to the people that do watch the podcast faithfully, I 100% appreciate you more than you'll ever know. I appreciate the views. I appreciate every single viewer that watches this podcast, because you don't have to carve out an hour or 30 minutes or 45 minutes of your day to listen to me talk. You don't have to. And it's the fact that you do, I'll forever be grateful. But for me, this is going to be a really hone in and really give me that break that I can, so I can give you guys the best episodes possible. And like I said, I want to make sure that you guys have the best episodes and that can help me in planning. So like my stuff, because I've been noticing the way how talk I talk very brief about certain points, and I'll go in depth on certain topics, but I don't really give you guys the nitty-gritty of what I want to actually talk about, because then I'll post an episode and be like, well, dang, I wish I should have talked about this because that really would have helped with that. But yeah, I'm going to use this to make the podcast better. So like I said, the podcast is not going to end anytime soon. I will let you guys know whenever that happens, but it's not in the foreseeable future. But I'm just letting you know now, podcast episodes will come out bi-weekly, not every week. So I thank you for your time, and I thank you for your patience with me. But I promise you, things will really get a lot better in terms of content and promotion with this new update. So, not next week, but the week after, you guys should be getting a new episode. So, this would not be it would not be, what's today, the 12th? Then not on the 19th, next Friday, but the 26th, you guys will have a episode for right after Christmas. And I'll probably be telling you all what we got for Christmas and whatnot. But the episode of how to stop comparing yourself will basically air that day, and it won't be today. It won't be today. Today is just the podcast updates. That's why it's very short. But I think that's everything for right now. If I have any other housekeeping updates, I will be letting you guys know at the beginning of the next episode, or in my post um for the next episode. But for right now, this is not a goodbye, or oh, I don't like recording because I love recording. It's just I want to do the best I can for recording, and also give myself the mental health of not stressing over making a new episode every single week. So bi-weekly will actually make me more intuitive to post promotion and all that type of stuff. So I thank you all for rocking with me for these 8 episodes. Jesus Christ. For these 8 episodes. There's a lot more I want to talk about, and a lot more I want to cover, and a lot more people I hope to feature on this podcast. That's another thing that's going to be changing in the next year. But for right now, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to the Third Take. Please take care of yourselves and each other, and have a great day. Peace.